from this conference this season, especially with 4 new teams,
right?
West Coast teams, and do you see any other future expansion?
Future, I'll tell you this: if you would have asked me back when I started in this business, and the Big Ten was 10 teams, if I ever thought there was going to be 18, I would have said you're crazy. And you know the way it's going, I think there's a possibility that we'll have 3 super conferences at some point. But I would have never imagined that doing this for 40 some years that I would be coast to coast in the same network. You know, from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast in the Big Ten, and it's the Big Ten. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And, you know, I'm looking forward to, I've been to every one of these places. So people go, well, you're going to see a lot of new cities and a lot of new stadiums. I've seen all the stadiums. I've done every Power 5 stadium in the world except Notre Dame, and that's just because it's NBC. So I'm looking forward to a little more traveling, seeing a little more, you know, getting back to the Big Ten roots where I grew up in Minnesota. So I was a Big Ten guy when I first started. When Gary and I first started at ESPN, our package was the Big Ten. So it's kind of back to the future for us.
When you look at you talk about the strength of conferences, we know about the SEC,
yep.
ACC, Big 12 has definitely come on. But the Big Ten primarily, how important was it in your estimation for it to be in the #1 market as well as the #2 market, adding UCLA and USC?
Well, I think it's, you know, a great move by the Big Ten. You know, I obviously feel bad for the Pac-2, Pac-12, you know, because I hate to see conferences go away because there's a lot of tradition out there too. And, you know, there was a season where Gary and I did nothing but Pac-12 games, which was a lot of red-eye flights back to where we live. And, you know, that part was really fun, and seeing those cities and those teams and kind of a different kind of football, you know, compared to the Big Ten or the SEC. And now everybody's getting muddled together, and you got to come up to the next level. And, you know, just because you have the UCLA or USC or Oregon or Washington name, you got to live up to that name. And it's going to be different, and it's a little bit different football. But, you know, we're going to have Ohio State either #1 or #2 probably in the polls, and Oregon's probably going to be #3. Michigan's the defending champions. So you got way over there and way over here, and, you know, power in every conference. So the power in this conference is pretty special.
Who's the team, in your estimation, that will win the Big Ten and really make a mark? And who's the dark horse out of this conference that we should be paying attention to?
Well, I think, you know, Ohio State's going to be the favorite. Their talent level is off the charts, and what they've done in the portal, bringing in, you know, a couple of guys that are superstars. Their quarterback situation, I don't think, you know, with Howard coming in from Kansas State, you know, I don't know if they need him to be special because their backfield's going to be super special. Their receivers are going to be phenomenal again. Their defense is loaded with #1 draft choices. So if I just looked at it on paper, I'd say Ohio State. Oregon's going to have something to say about that, I'm pretty sure. And they've had pretty good success with transfer quarterbacks, and they'll do the same thing. And Dan Lanning's defense will be Big Ten quality, SEC quality, whatever you want to call it. So if I had to pick a dark horse, now you caught me. Come on, Nick. I didn't think this through well enough. Well, Penn State shouldn't be considered a dark horse, but their schedule's a little better this year, and there's no divisions. And so if they can start throwing the ball down the field instead of sideways, which that's what I thought from Drew Alley last year when we did them, you can't really say Penn State's a dark horse, but that's what I'm going to use.
So with all that you said, especially with Ohio State, and there's a lot of pressure on Ohio State,
yep.
obviously, to the favorite to win the national championship, is this a year that Ryan Day gets it done?
I'm just going to say yes, because that's going to make somebody happy in the Big Ten. Because I'm not going to say Georgia, and I'm not going to say Texas. So, yeah, he gets it done this year.
Okay. One and only Brad Nessler, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
You got it, Nick.